As a child, I always thought, I'm just gonna grow out of it. I'm just gonna grow out of it. Eventually, it'll go away. Eventually, I'll be everything that my family wants me to be. Although I came from a family that we're kind of conservative. For a long time, even when I knew already that I was a transgender person, I told myself it's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna transition. This will completely kill my family if I were to tell them. How am I going to tell my friends? How am I going to tell people at work? Just thinking about more and more, and it just caused me more anxiety that I just felt it was something I was always going to have to live with. And I was just going to have to suck it up and just keep going because, hey, it's never going to happen. At least that's the way I thought at that point. But I'm not living my life. I was still living the life that everybody else wanted me to live. And I fell into depression. And it was really up to one night after I came home from work, I just fell on the floor and I just couldn't get up anymore. I felt like I had lost all hope. And it was at that point that through my job, we have an employee assistance program that I finally called that number and said, I needed help. I needed to do something about this. I couldn't just keep on going like this because I don't know how much longer I was going to be able to go. And it was through the employee assistance program that I finally got matched up with the counselor. And going through months and months out of counseling, that's when, again, I started realizing that I needed to live my life no matter what people said about me, no matter what everyone else expected of me. I wasn't here to live up to their expectations. I was here to live for me. And I wanted to be here. I couldn't picture myself committing suicide. I just couldn't do that. But I knew I had to do something or else eventually it was going to lead to that. And I didn't like it. I just knew I didn't feel comfortable. Even around my LGBT friends, I still didn't feel the same. And it wasn't until I was about 18, 19 when I was in college, more on my own, away from my family, away from that somebody always telling me this is how you need to be, this is how you need to be. It was really my time to explore and think more for myself of what is it that I want for my life, that I started doing a little bit more research and more exploring. Actually, through YouTube, I found a video of a transgender person telling their story, and it all just clicked. And that's right there, that's when I knew that this is what was missing. This is the piece that I never understood was there, the piece of when I was a little girl that I knew I wasn't going to grow up to be this beautiful woman that everybody wanted, but I didn't know what it was. And it was that I was transgender, and it was that I never wanted to grow up to be a beautiful woman. I wanted to grow up to be a beautiful man. The way I did it was, first I knew a lot of my employer's policies, and I'm fortunate enough to work for a company who has inclusive policies, who celebrates diversity, and really promotes respect for people. So that was my foundation right there for my transition. That's when I finally took the plunge. It was just kind of like taking a Band-Aid off, like, I'm going to do this. And the first step, of course, was telling my friends, which a lot of them already knew I was transgender, but didn't know that I was actually going through with the transition. And the last one was really telling work. And as casual as I could, I told my boss just right there at my desk, didn't set up an important meeting. I just told him, by the way, I'm going to start this process. And after I told him, we went through a couple of steps to finalize of how we were going to announce to everybody. And again, right after that communication, my assistant manager, he was actually my manager at the time, did the communication. I wasn't in the room because I was too nervous to be in the room and actually tell everybody this is a really funny story. But in the room where they did the communication, there is a closet that is attached to where my office was, and I wanted to listen to people's reactions, so I was actually in the closet listening as my coming out process was going on. And there was actually one incident that happened to me of one of my ex-girlfriends who gave me a lot of the strength to start my transition. Her mom was going through some issues, not LGBT related, but her own kind of issues, and she actually committed suicide a week before I was to begin my transition. And being there at that moment where she committed suicide and being around her family and seeing everything that her family went through, and just thinking that this lady who may have had some issues committed suicide can never resolve those issues. I felt like I needed to be in that place to see that, to when I did start my transition, I had a whole different mindset of what life is and how precious life is, and that you only have one, and I have to live that one to the fullest, to what makes me happy, not what makes other people happy. I think the most important thing about someone who is trans to come out is that a lot of the times you don't even know a person is trans. So if they come out with the bravery to say, hey, I am a trans person, there may be somebody in the room that you could also reach who may be going through something similar but doesn't know who to talk to or who to look up to. And by being that role model to somebody else, you could help that person start their own transition. So again, they could live their own authentic life, so they could be happy with their life and be successful. Hello, my name is Eli Garza, and I am a transgender man. So I always knew that I was eventually going to have to grow up and start wearing dresses, and I was going to have to let go of all my basketball shorts, and even though I love sports, I was going to have to get more into the girlier things. But